April reading wrap up, anybody?
Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice.
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's the end of April. Let's talk about what I read this month. My reads significantly went down. I can't remember the exact number, but I think the month of March that I read about 20 books. Month of April, I read 7, and I've got everything from 1 star to 5 stars in here, so it was a pretty mixed reading month for sure. All of the books this month were primarily audiobooks, heavy AirPod month. First book that I read is Capone 2 by Jaquel J. I wish I could say that I remembered more about this book. I gave it 4 stars, so I must have had somewhat of a good time. African American romances and the multiple point of views and the jumping back and forth and the drama reads like a bad Tyler Perry show, but in a good way. I was invested. I'm gonna read part 3. So Capone 2, Jaquel J, 4 stars. It was cool. Then I read Say You Remember Me by Abby Jimenez, and so this book follows Xavier and Samantha, and we meet Samantha in Just for the Summer, which this is a 5-star read. And she is looking for her mom, which we find out about, you know, her mom's diagnoses and everything in Say You'll Remember Me. Kind of getting the chills even just thinking about this book right now. Derogatory chills. I don't know what's been going on with Abby's writing. The first 30% felt like an Akatar fanfic. He looks like Reese. He looks like Reese. Didn't know if I was reading Abby Jimenez or if I was reading Sarah J. Maas. You can't call this a romance because what this was a manipulative, toxic relationship with 2 people running themselves into the ground, literally, like ending up in the hospital, and then throwing a happy ending on it. No, there was none of those wholesome Abby moments that we love. Yeah, I want to be with you. I want to be with you, but we're so far apart. Okay. Xavier did all of the heavy lifting in the relationship, if you could even call it that. But it didn't feel like there was ever anything coming from her. It's always him trying to get to her, him trying to do this, him being the emotional anchor for the whole family, mind you. Why is he taking all of this emotional turmoil? This is supposed to be a love interest, not a therapist. Not Abby's best work. I gave it 2 stars. You have watched my video on that, so you know what I think. Yes? But in case you need a reminder, I gave Big Beautiful Life a whopping 5 stars. I loved it. Emily Henry's brain is crazy. Then I read Happy Land by Dolan Perkins Dead, about a story of an African American kingdom in the US. But I think that this is like somewhat of a true story. There's another book out, I think, called American Queen, and all telling the story of like the Happy Land and the kingdom. So I'm kind of interested in this story. The theme that I started to see in April was like love triangles. Okay, this book kind of had its own weird, funky love Sudoku puzzle boy. But I enjoyed it. I liked the history. I liked the back and forth timelines. And I just enjoyed the way that she tells stories. Very similar to the way that Sadika Johnson writes. Like the stories that 1000% happen, but just aren't necessarily being written that way. So next up, Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall. I gave this book 5 stars. I just remember the audio production being good, the narrators really acting, and the story being good. She falls in love with these 2 men at separate times, and there's this almost murder mystery twist component. 5 stars. I like that book, and I'm looking for more things like that. I read You Between the Lines, and I wasted my time. Spilled some tea on it halfway through, and that should have been my sign to stop reading. I continued to read it. I'll just say this. At pushing 30, like the female main character was, she wrote way too much about Taylor Swift and One Direction and their sex life at that. I've never been a man defender. Every 30 seconds she's straight white men can do this in this master's program. She was complaining about her parents' divorce, again at 27. She was very immature. 1 star if it wasn't clear already. And on our final day of April, today, April 30th, I finished the final book in the Rebel Blue series by Lila Sage. It's Wild and Wrangled, and this was my most anticipated read of the series, I think. These are all interconnected standalones set on this ranch, Rebel Blue. Think very like Elsie Silver, or childhood friends to lovers, and then, you know, midway through they break up, they spend 15 years apart, and then they're back together. When you have that type of book, and I love this type of book, right? You have to do it well. One of the best examples, Love in Other Words, Christina Lauren, okay? You have to sprinkle the past and just enough with the present to keep, to mix into this nice smoothie. Lila didn't do that. It was still good. There were moments that I enjoyed, which is why I gave it 3 stars. But a lot of those moments were about the other characters, about the other books. I need to be liking the main couple. We spent a lot of time in the past POVs, or in the past versions of them, and I didn't really feel like all of that was necessary. I don't think I'm explaining it well, but it's just because I don't think the characters were explained to me well. Even when I was reading Lost and Lassoed, I was looking forward to Cam and Dusty. Their moments were so much better in the other books than when they got their own time to shine. And this would be my ranking of the Rebel Blue Ranch series. At 1, I would put Swift and Saddled. Lila, that was your best work, okay? Number 2, I can't lie, it's a toss-up between Lost and Lassoed and Done and Dusted. We'll put Lost and Lassoed at number 2, Done and Dusted number 3, and Wild and Wrangled number 4. As that wraps up my April reading wrap-up, my thoughts, my comments, my questions, my concerns. I enjoyed slowing my reads down this month. Truly taking the 14 days that Libby gives me, the 21 days that Hoopla gives me, and just reading when I want to read. Even though I had, like, you know, 1 star to 5 stars, so I experienced all the stars this month, I still think that my overall reading experience was more positive than it's been in a while. So that was a plus of April. I'm looking forward to making more content and doing more things because school is officially out for the summer. So make sure that you're following me on Instagram, that you follow me on Goodreads, so you can see when I talk about these books in a wrap up when I'm actually reading them in real time. I will see you in the next video, which is probably going to be coffee and current reads because I'm excited about that. I've got some coffee that I want to show y'all and some interesting current reads. So I'll see y'all in the next video. Until then, keep reading so you can tell me what you're reading on my coffee and current reads video.
I say it once, I won't say it twice. Okay, might say it twice.
Also, let's debut the bangs on the channel, actually. Bang appreciation.